Hello, a very warm welcome to the Carey Blyth Gallery and to number 3 in this series of bite-sized talking paintings. And today I'd like to share with you Bowman's Plashy Places number 5, in which the artist explores a fascination for urban wasteland, combining that with the literal shoreline. So how do we get to that point? Well, Day grew up in Minehead, a very modest buckets and spades seaside resort as we know it now on the Somerset coast. It actually dates back to the Bronze Age. It was listed in the Domesday Book and emerged as a busy trading post in the 1500s. And building on that, over the next 300 years, it became a successful industrial port, trading in the 1800s in cattle, in wool, in coal, that was shipped onwards to Bristol, Wales, Ireland and beyond. But all of that fell away as industry favoured larger ports, and Minehead was able to reinvent itself, fortunately, as a very fashionable Edwardian seaside resort, largely because the railway line had been extended and they were able to construct a pier. But that too fell away. And in fact, Minehead of Day's childhood years is not dissimilar to today, very modest town, busy in the summer months with long stretches of empty beaches through the winter. But there would have been a hinterland of post-industrial landscape. The architecture, the detritus of a discarded industry that characterised playgrounds for so many in the 60s, and certainly that's something that resonates for me. And my mother used to shoo us, a gang of 4, out of the door, and we'd come back at tea time in the evening after a day of exploring and roaming, sometimes for miles. And there may be moments in that day that were perhaps a little bit precarious. You didn't quite know what you might encounter, because largely we would find ourselves in edgelands and unpeopled areas such as quarries. And when I look at these larger works by Day, I recognise that sense of adventure. Day's been painting for nearly 40 years, and in that time she's created her own alphabet, her own language of painting that manifests in these large wasteland tableaux. They're complex, they're fluent, and the skill for Day is the alchemy of juxtaposing those elements that command her attention to create these tableaux, where blocks of black balance above trapeziums of rust. You've got ribbons of colour and gestural marks and charcoal that encircle pools of white. There's a distinctly auditory sensibility in this painting, and for example, when you look at this lovely sphere, this motif in charcoal, I can almost hear the footsteps of children running tag through those empty concrete tunnels. The plink of metal on metal. There's a distinct edginess. And when I look at these plates and planes of colour, I'm strongly reminded of Richard Serra's Corten steel sculpture that balanced precariously one sheet above the other. Perhaps you've encountered Olsen, the beautiful art rusted Corten steel that completely engulfed and dwarfed you should you be brave enough to walk between the two. It felt almost life-threatening, but certainly exciting. And often when I look at Day's work, I see that corollary with the dynamic of Richard Serra's work. I mentioned at the beginning that Day has combined this fascination for urban wasteland with the literal shoreline. And certainly in the paintings, this new series, there is that element of the beaches of her childhood introducing the blue, we're reminded of the water. There's a sense of fluidity in the overlayering, and you can almost see the light glistening white on wet sands. And in the next bite size, we're going to look at some of her footprint paintings and the tidal pools, where themes such as migrations and borders reoccur, and we'll be hearing a little bit of W.B. Yeats, The Man Who Dreamed of Fairyland. So I hope you'll join me for that, and that you've enjoyed exploring Dave Bowman's Plashy Places No. 5. Stay well, and thank you so much.